In today's video, I'm going to tell you what I've learned in growing from zero to $800,000 a year in revenue in the roll-off dumpster business. I did a video a while back called How I Built a $6 million company in less than 3 years. I'm going to put a link at the end of the video so you can check that one out after you've watched this video. What this does is it speeds up the timeline as far as growth. I'm able to quickly scale up if I see a really good opportunity. There are other YouTube channels like Lake Champlain Sanitation that may give you a better view of what it's like to grow a business with very limited capital. But having said all that, I started my business in late 2018 because I saw an opportunity in my market. I had no experience in the garbage business at all, but I had a lot of experience in business in general. I had previously been involved in lots of companies over the span of 20 years. I felt so strongly about investing into the garbage business that I bought 30 roll-offs to begin with. At the time, the cost of those 30 roll-offs was somewhere around $130,000. I also bought a roll-off truck and did some advertising for the business. The roll-off truck was about $200,000, and I also spent a couple of $100 a month on ads for the business. But the ads not only covered the roll-off piece, but they also covered my routes and everything I did. So my total startup cost for the whole roll-off part of my business was probably about $350,000. And one thing I learned quickly about this business is you don't make as much money as people think. One thing I commonly hear is people say things like,
I paid $600 for a roll-off. You guys must be printing money. I should get in the roll-off business.
I even get regular calls from people that are thinking about getting into the roll-off business, but after talking to me, they often change their mind. One of the biggest misconceptions that people just don't get is the disposal cost. If a customer rents a roll-off for $600, probably a third of that, or $200, is gonna go straight to the disposal. Then, depending on how far away the roll-off is from the landfill, you're gonna have another $50 to $100 in labor costs for your driver. Then another $50 to $100 to cover your insurance, your diesel, wear and tear on the truck, stuff like that. If your truck is financed, you're gonna have another $50 to $75 in cost for that. All these numbers don't even include if you have somebody answering the phone at your office, the electricity and overhead just for your office and your business in general. So on a $600 box, I kind of estimate that you're gonna make between $100 and $200, which is pretty good, but it's a far stretch from printing money. And I'll be the first to acknowledge there's some people out there that make more than this because they drive their own truck. They don't have to have health insurance. Instead of having somebody answer a phone at an office, they answer the phone. And some of them even do sketchy stuff, like they just have regular auto insurance on a commercial truck that's out doing commercial jobs. The problem with this, for me, is I'm trying to grow a big business. I can't drive every truck. Those guys may make a higher margin than I do, but it's not scalable for me. If you're just trying to start a business where you want to have one truck that you drive yourself, you probably make a pretty good living. I can't do that. So if you're thinking about starting a roll-off business because you think you're gonna make $400 or $500 per box, it's probably unrealistic. I would estimate more like $100 to $200 per box. The next thing I learned, and I say I learned, I think it's more like I came around to the idea over time, is that you have to turn these boxes as much as possible. When we first started, we would let the customer keep a box for 30 days, and on the 31st day, we would charge them a monthly rental fee. The customers loved this, and as an idea, it seemed pretty good because you think, oh, well, if they have it over a month, we get this rental fee. So at the end of every 30 days, we would charge the monthly rental fee. But what happens is the customer would let the box sit for 25 days and then they'd do their job, and on the 29th day they'd call for you to pick it up, so you never got any of the monthly rental fees, but you had these boxes out all the time. I was constantly struggling to keep enough boxes in inventory, and we would run out of certain sizes regularly. So what would happen is when we were constantly running out of one size, I would buy a few more of that size. But the truth is, I was just running a very inefficient operation. The cost to run a program like this is huge because you have so many more boxes. I would say a good average is about 30 to 40 boxes per truck. This is really going to depend on how far you are from your landfill and how far you're having to go. We kind of run about a 60-mile radius around the landfill, but some people in the city, they run much tighter radius. They might run like 30 miles and they don't need near as many boxes. But I would just say for us in Central Texas, 30 to 40 boxes is a good average per truck. So what I did to fix my mistake is I started charging a daily fee instead of a monthly fee. Instead of charging like $100 a month rental fee, I charged $3 a day. Some people charge $5, some people charge $7. So just pick a number and charge a daily rental fee. What this does is it aligns your interest and your customer's interest. So you both have the same goal of getting this roll-off filled and back to the disposal company. Also, I have close to 200 roll-offs. So if 150 of these roll-offs are always out in the field, that's $450 a day in rental fees that are coming in. At first, I was really scared to pull the trigger on charging a daily rental fee, and I knew the customers wouldn't like it, but after making some calls, everybody does this, right? Like maybe I was the only guy that didn't know to do this. Our business hasn't slowed down at all. In fact, our business has grown since we've done it, and we never missed a beat. The next thing I would tell you is to be sure and put yourself in a position of control with your customer. The way we do this is we over communicate everything and we try to reduce liability as much as possible. We all need customers, and for the most part, they're great. But every now and then you have one that just wants to cause trouble, and you need to protect yourself from these customers. Start by getting a credit card on file before you deliver the roll-off. It's just a matter of time before you have an overage or some charge that you have to go back to the customer. The customer's usually not going to agree or like it, and it's going to be much easier to get paid if you were very upfront about your charges and you already have their card on file. Believe it or not, some people will just simply disappear when it's time to pay the overage charges. One time I had a lady put 32 tires in a roll-off, and we couldn't track her down once the landfill saw all these tires. She knew exactly what she was doing too, because she put the tires on the bottom and then covered it with trash. These people are out there, and if you have policies in place to protect yourself, you're going to save yourself a lot of grief later. The next piece of this is have your customers sign a contract or acknowledge your terms and conditions. If you don't want to go as far as doing a DocuSign or some long contract because you think you could scare people off, just put all your terms and conditions on a PDF and email it to them and have them respond, "I understand and agree." Something like that. I had a lady one time accuse me of false advertising, price gouging, all this stuff because we charged her for overages on a roll-off. Once we re-forwarded her the email where she acknowledged that she had received our terms and conditions and they explained our overage charges and other things, she immediately changed her tone. Unfortunately, you have to do this from time to time because people usually, they don't listen when you're trying to explain something to them. A lot of times you send them the terms and conditions and they don't read them. And then when they see something they don't like, they start throwing a fit and they're gonna tell everybody and leave you bad reviews everywhere. So it's important to have that backup. You don't know who's gonna be a problem. So when there is a problem, you wanna have policies in place to protect you. I've learned so much in this business, and I could make this video go on and on and on. And a lot of things I think that I'm saying, people will be like, well, that's kind of obvious. But like I said, I started this business knowing nothing about the roll-off business or the garbage business at all. So tell me in the comments below, if you were in this business, what have you learned? What did I miss? And what could I do better as a business owner? If you're new to the channel, my name is Travis, and I make these videos to hopefully help people if they're gonna make an investment or start a business. I'm gonna put another video up right here about how I built a $6 million garbage company in less than 3 years, and I'll see you in the next one.